Okay, my name is Simon, Mr. Hunt. This is some of my pupils in my classroom a few months ago. Today I'm going to be talking about algorithms through dance, so a real life example in my classroom. So, like I said, my name is Mr. Hunt, also known as Mr. Hunt from the front. I teach a year 3-4 primary school just outside Manchester, just north of Manchester. So we're just north of Manchester, just outside Bury. So this is my wonderful school. I'm an inclusive school for children with physical disabilities. So we've got lots of different types of children, but we're fully inclusive. And in fact, you'll see my class in a minute. So my class are being taught by supply teachers today, but this is my real life class. They wanted to be part of my presentation, so they decided to freeze. For some reason, I'm not quite sure why, but they decided to freeze as I came in. So these are my wonderful children, and they're going to say hello to everyone at BETT today. Here they are. My wonderful, wonderful children. So my children are year 3 and year 4, and they're 7, 8, and 9 years old. Okay, so I'm going to be talking about dance. Now, even though I don't look like a professional dancer, I'm not a professional dancer, I'm just a teacher. However, I use dance in lessons all the time because it's a very active way of children getting involved in lessons. Now, a few years ago, my children were doing the floss dance. So the dance that's kind of like to do with Fortnite and to do with Katy Perry. And I saw my children doing this dance all the time. So I said to the children, why are you doing this dance? And they explained, oh, it's off Katy Perry's music video. So what I did was I used that dance to teach a lesson in school. So we looked at instructions, we looked at PE, we created some poetry, and then it went viral. So I'm just going to show you a few clips of our video going viral. So it's appeared on a few shows as well. Here we go. So our video went viral, and it was actually featured on The One Show, it was on This Morning, it was on Worldwide TV. So this is the two presenters talking about my classroom, talking about saying that Mr. Hunt's a really good dancer, official, and then they showed a bit of a clip of my class as well. So there's me with my class doing a bit of a dancing class. There you go. I know I do look like a professional dancer, I can see that. And then it was also on ITV, it was on lots of different news channels all around the world. So my dance from my little small primary school in Manchester, it went viral. It had 10 million views on the BBC, something million views all over the world. It went actually full on viral. And in fact, ITV, so there's some of the presenters trying to do our dance. And it actually went viral even in America as well. And then actually ITV, they came in to record us doing the dance in the classroom. So they came in, and this is ITV. These are my wonderful children explaining how to do this dance. Now, there you go. And it came originally famous because of Katy Perry. So it went so viral, actually. It was trending worldwide on BBC. So in fact, if you look just here, my little tiny class just outside Manchester in Bury, where we've got like 200 kids, it went viral. And it went viral all around the world, and we've got lots of worldwide attention. And what happened was, I used this in class because what I found was a lot of children, oh, the reactions are off there, but we had lots of reactions, and most of the reactions, if you think a video's got 10 million views, it'll have a lot of comments, and 99.9% of the comments are all positive about inclusive dance, how we're using dance in classroom. But there were a few people that were negative, saying why they're dancing instead of doing lessons. So I used that as like a talking point with my children to explain that why did they think that? Well, that's their opinion, and we're okay to have different opinions to other people. So it was a really good teaching point that we could use in class. So you probably think, well, what's that got to do with an algorithm? Well, an algorithm is a set of instructions in a particular order to perform a task. And a dance is a set of dance moves in a particular order to perform a dance. So it's very, very similar. So what I did was I asked my class, what is an algorithm? And this is my class here. What's it got to do with computing? So I said, right, I asked my class that exact question, what's an algorithm? So some of my children at the time, they didn't quite know what an algorithm was. So we had a discussion, what's an algorithm? Mr. Hunt, that's a really, really tricky word. I don't get what it means. So we got some ideas down at first. And then I played a YouTube clip through the ViewSonic software. Now, it's really nice that we could use this YouTube clip through ViewSonic software Because what I hate is when you play YouTube, you sometimes get an advert or an inappropriate thing that starts at the straight of the video. With using embedded video, you don't have that. So we played this BBC video that explains in simple terms what an algorithm is. And from there, I got my children. I showed the similarities between the algorithms. So I showed them this slide, which again, I'll show you in a second, about the similarities between an algorithm and a dance. And we had a good chat and they kind of see the connection between the two. There you go. And in fact, this was the very slide that I shared with my class. So in class, we were looking at the similarities, so examples in daily life, importance of order. A dancing is order matters, because if you don't do a dance move in a particular order, you'll get the dance wrong. We call it a bug in the system, just like an algorithm. So then I set my class a task, and this was a task, their challenge. And I said to my class, your challenge is to watch this dance. It's called the triangle dance with 3 people. Can you spot the steps by noticing patterns that repeat, so the algorithm? And I gave them some help. I said, right, I want you to look for patterns. What moves keep coming back? Listen to the beats and the music. Pay attention to what each dancer does, because if you focus on the 3 at the same time, you won't spot the algorithm. If you focus on one dancer and see what that one dancer does, you'll start to notice the patterns. And also, you can't talk about dancing without actually dancing. Like, you can't talk about the taste of chocolate without tasting chocolate. It's the same thing. So this is the video that I played to my children. I said, right, first of all, I just want you to watch the video, see what happens, see if you can spot the algorithm. And this was the dance. There you go. So that's the triangle dance. Each person does a particular set of moves in an order, but if they do the same dance moves as the other person, they'll bang into each other. So this is the video that I showed the children. So, and this is actually my class watching this video. So I said, right, guys, you're going to work in teams. Don't care about paper. It's up to you how you work this out. I want you to work as a team and figure this out yourself. Can you spot the algorithm? And this is it in live and action. So they watched the video just like we did just then. I put them in groups of 3 because it's a triangle dance. You need 3 people. I said, get what you want out of the classroom. Go and fish out what you need. So some of them got whiteboard pens, started writing some patterns down. One of the groups said, Mr. Hunt, can we get some colored counters? Because if we have colored counters, we can use those as we can name the counters. So some of the children got colored counters to try to figure out the algorithm. Some drew triangles because of triangle dance. But they were working together. They were expressing views and opinions, listening to different ideas, talking it through. But obviously, we've got to dance because it's a dance. So we've got to go outside and dance. So we did went outside, and they were all really confident at first, but they were banging into each other. They were giggling. They were getting the algorithm wrong, so they were banging into each other. So I said, right, you need to go back to the drawing board. Can you figure out the algorithm is? So they sat back down. They started drawing patterns. They had to rethink their algorithm. And the great thing was, if they got the algorithm incorrect, they were bopping to each other. So they would have a bug. So they would go back. But this is learning outdoors. It's exciting. It's good for those children that struggle to sit still. It's good for those neurodivergent children. It's good for all learning styles. And again, it's outside as well. So it's a computing lesson with not touching the computer, but outside. Now, this group did really, really well. They absolutely nailed it. Their algorithm was perfect, and you can see here. They were able to do the triangle dance, and they were able to figure out the algorithm. And in fact, these children then demoed with the rest of the class exactly how to do it. So they showed the rest of the class how to do it, a life example with some 7- and 8-year-olds, and they were able to figure out the algorithm. Now, what you can do, you don't have to use a triangle dance. You can use any dance that has a particular repeated pattern. And what I would do is, as a teacher, you see children do specific dances. So you'd see a lot of Fortnite dances, like these strange, funny dances. You can use those in your lessons. Rather than tell the children, don't do that as you come into class, say, well, how do you do that? Maybe we could use these as part of our lessons and tap into their interests. So the main point was for my children to understand that an algorithm is a set of instructions in a particular order. And at the end of the lesson, when we've done some dancing, we've done a physical, practical activity, I asked them the question, what is an algorithm? What is an algorithm? Instructions in a particular order. What is a dance? a set of instructions in a particular order. And then they just got up and did a random freestyle dance as well. So there we go. Professional dancers there. Some better than others. But again, it's that fun, it's tapping into the children's interest, tapping into what the children enjoy doing. And as a teacher, it's wonderful to see. Now, there is some theory behind it. It wasn't just a fun lesson, which it was, but there was a lot of theory around it. So the power of physical learning. So I'm just going to jump into that just a little bit. So the research says, so it's this collaborative learning and problem solving. So team-based activities where children work together really help with thinking and social skills, and especially post-COVID, because my year 3-4 children, they were the ones that were in reception when COVID originally hit. So that social interaction they really missed for a year or two. It's concrete learning before abstract, the concept. So if I just said to my children, we're going to do algorithms in a computing coding lesson, it would blow some of their minds. But by actually physically doing it, it bridges the gap between what an algorithm is. I understand what an algorithm is. Now I can then apply that to a lesson. And it's good for multisensory learning. So it's great for children that learn in different ways. It's catering to all different styles of learning styles. Now, this is one of my children. So this is one of my children. We're a brain break. So she needs some movement breaks during lessons. So I took her out, and originally I was trying to find a quote. Do you know when you search on the internet for a quote that sort of talks about what you've been talking about? And I was looking for a quote. And when I was sat with her, she said, "Mr. Hunt, what are you doing next week, Mr. Hunt?" And I said, "Oh, I'm going to London to talk about our dance lesson. Remember we did a few months ago?" And she remembered it. She remembered the lesson that we did. So I said, "Hang on, Lottie, can you just tell me what you said again?" So I hit record, and rather than me putting a quote, this is one of our children explaining how she learned algorithms through dance. So this is one of my amazing kids. I put some subtitles because she's got a very strong accent, very strong Manchester Northern accent. So I said, "Why did you enjoy learning outdoors instead of on a table?" There you go, an algorithm. This is 2-3 months later. An algorithm is a set of instructions that can be based on many different things. So when I asked about learning styles, so how do we learn? And what's interesting for a 7-year-old to be able to explain very articulately that we all learn in different ways and we've got different learning styles, we can learn from children that way. And she's got different learning styles, and she understands that everyone has different learning styles. So that's kind of the bridge between the actual coding side. So CodePad, if anyone's used this website, it's a great website. So this is the link. So I do a dancing coding lesson for the children to understand the concept of algorithms. And then I use code.org. So it uses popular music and it has dance. And this is a way of block coding. So it's kind of what we did outside, but it's a bridge between. So it's a free website. It's a really good website. And it works because it's understanding and reinforcing what an algorithm is. It's interactive. It uses music, like very popular music now, but also it had a ace of bass on there as well. It has lots of different types of music. And it's dancing. And because the children, the week before the lesson, the week before, they understood what an algorithm is, they're able to bridge between the two. So there's a QR code for the website. So that lesson I did was in October time. Now, if you go into the ViewSonic Educator community, there's lots of free resources on there. As long as you've got the software, which is free to download, you can sign up to the Educator community and you can download, if you go on my QR code here, you can actually download my whole lesson or my slides. And you can see, I've also done a video walkthrough, a little bit like what I've done today. And you can click on there and it explains the lesson in full there as well. And I'm also posting other lessons on there, different types of lessons. Sometimes I'll just post something that worked well in class. Like last week I was doing a lesson in class where I was mirroring my device to the screen and we were looking at times tables and I was just asking Siri a times table question. I challenged the children to answer a question before Siri answered the question that was on the board, and they enjoyed just trying to beat Siri. So I post lots of ideas on there. There's loads of things on there constantly being updated, and it's free. And it's teachers sharing ideas with other teachers. So that's me. Thank you for listening. I know it's like really early on the first day. I really do appreciate your time. I'll be here actually speaking to Jamie, who does works with lots of neurodivergent children. We're gonna have a little chat later on. These are my socials. Again, I post on here. I also post on the ViewSonic educator community as well. I've got to check in with my class in about an hour because they said, Mr. Hunt, you've got to tell us what you've been up to in London. So I'm going to check in with my class later on. But I do fully appreciate you listening to me this morning on one of your first trips around. So thank you very, very much.